So let's talk about these in a little bit more detail because they vary in some ways. In the case of applications management, most applications management initiatives and enterprises revolve around and focus around application lifecycle management. That is, defining an application, developing an application, testing it, bringing it to production, maintaining and upgrading its patches and refreshes, making certain that it's running in the appropriate configurable environment. So applications management technology is really good at that kind of stuff, including managing projects in some cases. In broader application lifecycle management suites, they may even manage multiple portfolios of applications, things like license management, in some cases connectivity with integration resources, ongoing maintenance and upgrades, particularly working with vendors, patches and changes, and incident management are all common to some extent in application lifecycle management platforms. All well and good for our on-premise legacy stuff, but maybe not so good for cloud service management. And certainly they weren't designed, at least many of the earlier application lifecycle management platforms, to address the challenges of multiple SaaS vendors in an enterprise. So how about cloud management? Well, cloud management platforms have been around for the past 6, 7, 8 years, primarily designed to enable the management of multiple infrastructure as a service, or multiple services of a single infrastructure as a service provider. They're really good at infrastructure provisioning, budgeting, maybe some of the analysis tied to how much you're spending, so economic analysis. They can control services to some extent of a cloud vendor, enable configuration and capacity management, broker technology when you want to subscribe to new services on demand potentially. And they enable their own kind of monitoring and systems management. But again, it's more targeted towards infrastructure as a service. There are other cloud services like integration platform as a service, IPaaS, that typically fall out of the purview of cloud management. Most SaaS applications fall out of the purview of many cloud management platforms. But cloud management does address platform as a service and potentially some other co-location and managed services. So they're good at workflow, workload migration, infrastructure provisioning, self-service provisioning, performance monitoring, etc. But maybe they're not so good at cross-service management. Some cloud management platforms can address multiple infrastructure and platform as a service vendors, some not so much. Many enterprises rely on their hyperscale cloud vendor for cloud management, which is good if you only subscribe to the services of that hyperscale cloud vendor, but not so good if you have other clouds that need to be administered and controlled. And indeed, again, they were not designed specifically with SaaS administration in mind, rather more of infrastructure administration in mind. And then finally, IT services management. We've got a lot of tools in our quiver, arrows in our quiver rather, focused on various types of IT management, resource management controls from the likes of IBM, BMC, CA Technologies, HP, etc. And they're really good at things like help desk and incident management, change management, configuration management, and can be applied broadly to a lot of different ecosystems and environments. The challenge, though, is you have to configure them to make them work in those environments, which takes a little bit of engineering and learning curve to do so. And when you apply it to the SaaS automation, it's perhaps, again, not necessarily designed to enable SaaS automation. Can they do it? Probably. Will it take time to figure it out? Sure. Can you afford the time and effort to do that? Maybe. So these kind of approaches to managing an application in the cloud, multiple SaaS, are kind of doable, but they really weren't intended or specifically designed to manage multiple SaaS in an enterprise.